good.
We're good?
Oh, yeah.
That's
that burped. Yeah. That's thank God. All right.
You are
herpes.
tired, dude.
I got herpes.
All right, let's go. Grab my beer.
Where's mine?
Do you need one? I have no idea. Yours is right next to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I am a little out of it. What do you think of Have you ever had Land Shark?
Yeah.
It's my favorite light beer, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad beer.
It's a less
just don't have
skunky
it that
Corona. I
often.
talked about it with Devin. It's a less skunky Corona. Yeah.
You put a lime in it?
Yeah, it'd be perfect. Devin asked for a lime last time. My roommate just goes, I have them, but not for you.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm taking them up north to make margaritas. I'm like, I think we could have gotten you new ones.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
You ever had a High Life with a lemon?
I think you made me do that once. It's not bad.
I like it. I think it's a great summer drink.
I don't know what my favorite summer drink would be. Every once in a while, if it's warm, a summer shandy sounds so good.
I agree, but I can't have more than like one or two of them.
I can do 2 max and then done.
Yeah, it's so much sugar.
It's a lot of sugar, and then your mouth. I don't like when I'm like these that stickiness from the sugar. These are light where it's obviously not water, but it doesn't leave a taste in your mouth really.
Yeah.
Versus, which is kind of the way I like vodka sodas too, where it's basically just water and vodka.
Yeah.
I mean, it is water and vodka.
It is.
I can't do sugar anymore.
I'm trying to cut it out. It's hard. Everything in our world has sugar in it now.
Americans are addicted to sugar.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, you go anywhere else in the world, the same like dessert has significantly less sugar. And we're like, this doesn't taste as good. It's like, well, it's because it doesn't have a cup of sugar in it. We are addicted to it through and through. And, I mean, I am too. I have a sweet tooth. Big time.
You're a dessert guy?
Yes and no. I think if you made me choose, I would go salty over sweet. But if you give me a good sweet, I'm like, oh, boy.
The only thing I love is ice cream.
Really?
I'm a bitch for ice cream, dude. I don't know what it is. It's just.
See, I think we're spoiled. We have custard here, obviously.
Well, I include that in ice
okay.
cream. Yeah.
Custard outweighs
any form of ice cream. Custard,
yeah. Every once in a while, I'll get like a hankering for ice cream. But I kind of like ice cream as it's something with ice cream. So you like birthday parties growing up, it's like cake and ice cream.
Yeah.
I was like, I always like the ice cream more than I like the cake.
I think cake is overrated.
I'm not a frosting person.
Overall, I just think it's an overrated pastry or dessert.
I would agree. It's my favorite dessert is hot apple pie and ice cream, though.
Yeah.
They just pair well. It's different textures, different heats.
I had a question for you. So we were talking on my podcast we were talking about like worst first dates. I was curious what your worst first date was. Dude,
I actually tried making this a bit the other week. Kinda. Like I think I do well with parents. Except for the first impression. It's never gone well. So I want to say my worst first date. So I've actually technically only been on, besides the girlfriend I have now, I've really only been on one date. The other was like
You've only been on one date.
Kinda, yeah. And I think I nailed it. But other than that, it was like a high school relationship. Didn't have a car, couldn't really go anywhere. We just hung out at each person's house.
Yeah.
But the first time I was going to go on, I guess a double date, we'll call it. We were going to go to a movie with another couple, and I was meeting them at my girlfriend's house.
Okay.
First of all, my mom has to drop me off, so not looking real cool. They're all in the basement. I text her. I'm like, I'm here. I go to ring the doorbell, and her mom answers. And you know, like storm doors and screen doors? So like storm doors, the glass, screen door, you could punch through it. It's a screen door between me and her. And I'm like, hi, I'm here for so-and-so. She just stared at me. Like, no words, just for a good minute. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, my name's Michael. I'm here for, like, we're going on a date, and then nothing. Then I started being like, I think she's in your house. Like, she's in the basement. I was like, are you going to say, she just, like, if you turned the lights off and saw her in the corner of her room, you'd be like, this place is haunted. It was so fucking creepy. 5 minutes of nothing, just me rambling. I'm like, we're going to a movie. Alyssa and Brian are downstairs. I'm 5'8".
So you were bombing with the mom.
I was bombing with the mom. I was literally just like word vomiting, and she was not buying any of it. She's like, "You're not funny." I'm like, "I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to get inside."
Yeah.
And finally, her daughter came out. I was like, "Mom, you can talk." And it was almost like that turned her on. She's like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" I go, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
Dude, NPC. She was NPC.
I was like, glitch in the system.
I truly believe that there are NPCs in this world. Like, I believe everybody has humanity and deserves respect, but like some people I just don't think are all there.
Oh, absolutely. My favorite video I've seen of that is, I think it's a TikTok where it's like, I'm going to prove to you no one's actually real in this world. Yeah. He like walked in to a laundromat and was like, "Hey, did you hear Danny DeVito got an OnlyFans?" And the person behind the counter was like, "No way, really?" We're like, "Yeah, he got an OnlyFans." It's like, you got to check it out. It's pretty cool. And then like, "Oh my God, really?" He goes, "Yeah, crazy." And I was like, thank you, have a nice day. Handed him Monopoly money, then left. And he goes, "I didn't even need anything. I didn't pay for anything. I gave Monopoly money and I left." And they're like, "All right, have a nice day." Like, just let the interaction go. Like, this is phenomenal.
Did you know Aristotle wrote about that? He wrote that there's tiers of levels of souls, essentially. And people have different levels of souls within them that allow them to have different levels of conscientiousness. Essentially, before our time, he was saying that there are literal NPCs in this world that just don't have the same consciousness as some people.
They need to be, like, upgraded. Like,
yeah. I thought that was, I was, like, looking in that because I bought that book because my friend told me about it because I thought that that's extremely interesting that even back then he was like, I don't think some of these people are here.
It's like one of those things, let's say you ever play Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart or something like that. Mm-hmm. So you log into the Super Smash Bros. Screen and it's like, all right, player one, like that's you, consciousness. Yeah. And then it's like 4 computer players, but your buddy wants to play. Like, all right, let's put consciousness in that one. Yeah. That's kind of, they're just waiting for someone to.
Yeah.
I also think, weird thought I've had, there's a finite number of like souls we're just constantly cycling through. Like, we are living constantly.
That's essentially what he was saying, was that, that some people just don't have, they're very low level, like, energy, and they just don't, that's, I haven't finished it yet, but the initial concept to me was super interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That even, like, a famous philosopher was like, I just don't think everybody's here.
I think we've been struggling with the same questions about the nature of our being forever. It's just in different words and terms.
I agree.
Would you want to know the answers to everything?
I don't know. I feel like that Indiana Jones thing would happen where you just melt away because you just can't handle it.
I don't think I'd want to know because then there's no point.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's like, all right, here's the end, like, why would I race?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, that's what Alan Watts kind of says. Once you've figured out what you want in life, and then you hit this point of, like, where you don't know what your desire is, and then essentially your desirelessness, and that's like the beginning point of, like, figuring things out, is once you don't know what you want anymore. Like, he says, I'm gonna butcher this so hard. He says, in life you try to figure out what you want, and then essentially once you realize that you don't want that, like, a lot of people say once they become successful, they're like, they feel empty and hollow, like, did they really want this? And then their desirelessness. I'm fucking butchering this so bad. I don't know if you'll ever listen to Alan Watts at all. He's like a theological philosopher. He essentially talks about, like, the point of life, dissects Buddhism, Christianity, evolution, and just the world we're going to. And he had a philosophy that I thought was super interesting. He says, you ever look at the stars and just think, what if all the stars are just planets and that have exploded, that we're all just Earths and we're all just working our way towards the end of our existence?
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm like.
Scary.
We're just going to keep climbing to the point. Like, he what's the word when you, like, not prophesize, but when you essentially call that a lot of things that have happened in society, and he thinks that we're just going to nuke ourselves off.
Why am I blanking on that word?
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
I mean, I guess
he predicted a lot of stuff.
That's like the elementary version. I know exactly what you're talking about. The people who are like, I can see the future kind of thing.
Yeah, well, he just looks at what we were going, and he just said we're just continually working towards essentially extincting ourselves through bombs, wars, and everything.
My big thing is, like, do you believe when you die it's the end?
No.
I don't either, simply because I want you to comprehend nothing right now.
Well, that's what he says too.
Comprehend nothing.
That's what he says.
You can't.
He says, I want you. He says, I think everybody in their life should at one point close their eyes and picture what it's like when you die. Picture like nothing. There is nothing. It's like, how can energy become nothing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main rule of science is energy. What is it? Mass
cannot be created nor destroyed.
Yeah, nor destroyed.
My favorite rebuttal to that is like, then where the fuck did it come from?
That's why I believe in God. I'm writing a joke about this right now, which is like people believe in things like astrology and evolution, but like that doesn't make sense. Like people give me crap for believing in God, but I'm like, dude, if evolution was in the Bible, no one would believe that shit. You know what I'm saying?
What to believe in.
They wouldn't believe it. It'd be like, you mentioned witnessing to somebody, like, yeah, dude, in the beginning, there was a boom. And then space. And space chilled. It chilled for a while.
Yeah.
And then pow. Dolphins. And you're like, well, where the fuck did dolphins? No, they used to be smaller dolphins. You mean like babies? Like, no, different smaller dolphins. And you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
I like the simulation theory, but then all of a sudden, when you think simulation theory, like, all right, how far back does it go?
Yeah.
Because simulation theory says, like, if technology grows at the rate it is, which is exponential, VR is going to get so good that we will not be able to distinguish reality from virtual reality. Then all of a sudden, it's like, are we in that now?
Yeah,
like, we
could be.
Are we actually just this melted pile of bone somewhere with a headset on?
That would explain NPCs, dude.
And then, all right, so then there's that inception thing. Like, all right, you're a person inside of a person. And it also just shows how unadaptable we are, because if we keep doing the VR thing, it's just a constant loop. It's like a Hot Wheels track that's just doing this.
I think life is cycles. Life is circles.
Oh,
History
my God,
is circles. What blows my mind is I've met girls that believe in astrology and evolution. And that makes no sense. Like, there's no continuity there. Like Darwin was writing Natural Selection. And he was like, well, mammals have hairs because they're such Sagittarius. It's like, that makes no sense that you could believe in both. You know, to me, it doesn't.
No, I think it's good for people to believe in something. I think people who believe in both things are just trying to be right in everything. That's like they want to be on the good side of everything. Like, listen, you're not always going to be right. You're not always going to be on like the correct side of everything.
I think that's what's ruined our world, is this idea that you have to not offend people. And it's amazing that just having ideas
that's part of it.
Well, just having ideas and beliefs offend people. Like, I've had people get mad at me. I was like, yeah, I believe in God. How do you believe in God? It's just like, well, because I just don't believe that there's nothing. I don't believe that intelligent life form can be derived from nothing. That a chair could be created out of nothing. You know what I mean? Like, somebody had to build that. That's my thoughts.
The fact that people are like, okay, we can't be offended. We all need to have the same system.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in the walk the line philosophy, as in there needs to be both people. Now, can some outliers, the outrageous, like racism and all that shit, like, obviously the big ones should go away. But different beliefs are good, because if we all had the same belief,
100%.
we all felt the same way. If you were never sad, you can't be happy.
That's
you need one without the other.
Yang of life, yeah.
There is you just are then.
Yeah.
There is no life. You just are. If everything was just, it's not good.
Yeah.
Think of it like a tightrope.
Well, good only exists because bad exists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Happy and sad. Good, bad. You need both. It's a balance. Think of it like a tightrope. Sooner or later, if you just got across, you're watching someone do a tightrope, and they just walked across no problem, you're like, that was fucking boring.
Yeah.
You know what you want to see? You want to see someone sway a little left, then go a little right there, and then kind of even themselves out for a bit, and then it happens again. A wind comes. Like, that's life.
That's what Alan Watts says. He says the only joy in life is surprise.
Exactly.
He's like, but the problem is we get afraid because we don't know what does a good surprise look like. Because most of us think surprises are negative. Someone dies, something like that. But it's like good surprises can happen too. Like I got a guest set at the Laughing Tap yesterday. That was a great surprise.
Did it go well?
It was okay. Light attendance, I think, just because it's still nice out.
Nice
Comedy
out.
shows.
Thursday.
Yeah. Mitch Vitale, hilarious,
Really?
dude. Oh, I used to watch him growing up. So funny. so funny.
Well, that's
dude.
a cool experience for you then.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I'm always happy to get opportunity. It's how you get better.
Yeah.
You know? Everything. That's just how you get better.
No, I agree. That's awesome. Where did we started with? What is your summer drink?
Yeah. And then we went into first dates, and then we ended up with what is the purpose of life, essentially.
That's a common theme on this one, though.
I
do
love that
too.
stuff,
it's
dude.
my favorite.
I think we're stupid as fuck at honestly,
we
so it's
are
funny
so
that we
dumb.
talk about it. But
When I first met my girlfriend, we would have like longer talks, and one of the questions goes, if you could have one question answered, or I don't know if I asked, if you could have one question answered, though, what would it be? One question that, not like, oh, I want to know everything, just like one specific thing.
if I could have one question answered,
Yeah.
it would be. I think it would be, is God real? Is Christianity real? Because I think it really dictates my belief system and a lot. And I don't know, maybe I would be lost without it, but to know if that's true or not, I think would really dictate how I would live my life past that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fair. No, I think a lot of people would ask that one, and then if the answer was no, it'd be some upheaval, like chaos. Because then you don't know people. You take someone's complete belief system away. Like, all right, what am I doing here then?
Yeah.
Mine would be, why me? So, like, I've only ever known what it's like to be me.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I in control of this body?
Yeah.
Like, why is this my consciousness?
Well, have you heard the at least this is my understanding of like the Buddhist philosophy, which is like they believe in some level of reincarnation, and I believe what they believe is that we are God discovering itself, right? Because like another thing, I'm gonna keep quoting this, but Alan Watts says, if you dreamed a dream, right, and you dream this dream, you could dream whatever dream you wanted to dream, right? And you'd start by like maybe slaying dragons or you know, having house parties, being rich and famous. And then after a while, you would keep dreaming dreams, and you would change the dreams and alter the dreams because you could have whatever you wanted. And inevitably, you would dream to the point where you are sitting exactly where you're sitting. Because the only thing that would be left to do was to experience what not having control would look like.
Okay, I like that.
Isn't that interesting?
That's very interesting.
Because like the only way that God, if he could have everything he has, could be to actually experience good, bad, surprise, is to actually put himself in a situation where he loses control and then see what happens throughout all of these beings.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I love, dude, I'm telling you, listen to Alan Watts. His shit is, it's beyond. He talks about all.
There's so many thoughts in my head. I don't need to add 1,000 more.
Dude, it's crazy to me. Like that, when he said that, I was like, that is crazy, because like think about how accomplished you'll feel. I mean, how accomplished did you feel when Selena reposted that and you started getting, I mean, you already had what, 15,000 followers?
Nine,
yeah. But I mean, that's still very impressive, dude. I mean, I'm working every day towards trying to create content, and it's a struggle, dude.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, one, to do it, and then struggle, two, to actually get any traction. So it's like, to be at the point where you're at 70,000 followers, that has to feel good after everything you've put into it.
It does. I feel like a sham. I also know it's dumb luck.
That's the game now, dude.
It's a game. I am not good at accepting compliments. I'm not good at talking myself up. Every once in a while, you're feeling yourself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just one of those things. Eventually, I would like, now that I have a following that I feel comfortable with, I will do my own personal stuff, and I can start tagging my stand-up in there, which is great. But no, it felt good. It's one of those things that's so surreal.
Yeah.
You don't know how to feel. Like, the amount of messages I got when that happened, like, dude, this is awesome. Don't forget about. I'm like, all right, chill with the don't forget about us thing. Like, let us know what she says to you. I'm like, that's not how this works. We're not gonna be pen pals now.
No, I'm sure she didn't even respond. You commented on the bottom. Right?
Yeah, I was just like, hey, do you want to come on now?
Yeah.
I figured, you know what, I have to say that at least. Yeah,
you gotta.
And I know she's not gonna look at it. I mean, she's on a yacht in Greece. Do you think she's gonna be like, yeah, Michael?
Dude, the power behind that. Imagine just being famous and sexy to the point you just post a 3-second clip of somebody
and it has
you've altered
20 some million views.
You've altered.
It's insane.
Yeah.
That is crazy. If someone told me like, hey, your voice will come out of Selena Gomez's mouth one day, I'd be like, you can kick rocks.
Yeah.
But when it happened, I genuinely thought, I felt bad because I wasn't excited because I didn't know how to feel. Because when that happened, I was like, I don't think this is really going to do much. What really happened was the next video I posted, which went nuts. And then everyone gave me comments. I'm like, you're way happier than I am.
Yeah.
Like, it bothered me because I was like, all right, how can I capitalize on this instead of enjoying it?
But it just shows people, too. It's like, look, nobody was messaging you after all the work you were doing up until that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sorry, I messaged you as well, but...
No, but we talk at least once a week.
Yeah. I've always tried to support. Like, I was happy when you showed up in the comedy scene because I don't know if this is a usable thing because I'm not trying to shit talk, but it's like prior to you, it's like I was the only one who was trying to create content in the scene. And I'm not trying to and people were giving me shit for it. Yeah. You know, calling me gay and shit like that's comics.
Oh, I got it too. It's like, what, 4 people listen to you? I'm like, you still came on the show.
Dude, because people don't want to do the work. And then now, look, all these comics in the scene are posting clips on TikTok. They're posting shit because it's like, yeah, you got to play the game. My dream is to become a comedian. My dream is to have people laugh at me, listen to me, like come see me. And it's like, I don't want to be some important person. I just want to have some fun and bring some joy to people's lives. That is
my number one thing. Is I started this for 2 reasons: to build the confidence to get on stage and to just genuinely have fun. And I said at the very beginning, I said, at the end of the day, if this amounts to nothing, I'm going to do it whenever I'm like ready to I'm going to keep doing it as long as I'm having fun. And at the end of the day, when I'm older, I have hours and hours of footage for me and my friends to look back on and be like, do you realize all the stupid shit we did in my mom's garage or this apartment? You
inspired me, man. You inspired me to start my podcast. I mean, I was doing the vlog. I was doing shorts. But you inspired me to say, like, why am I not dabbling in this as well? Like, I feel like you should dabble in everything and figure out what you like and what you want to do.
Try things. I think it's a big thing. Just try things. And it's fun. I did a podcast before this and failed. Well, it didn't fail. It was the co-host quit. And so then I was like, I'll just do it myself. Why not? It was fun. I like it. And I like meeting new people and stuff like that. I mean, obviously you've been on here before, but eventually I hope one day I get to have like big name people on. Yeah. It'd be cool.
Fuck me. I know.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck me, honestly. It'd be nice to be like, hey, this is my podcast, but if you guys could just talk and I'm not on it, that'd be great. No, it's
just like, hey, Michael, you know my name?
Yeah. It's one of those things where, and it sounds like I'm lying. I know a big name person would do well for this, but there are also just people I genuinely think would be fun to talk to. Yeah. Be so fun. Like this. I'm glad. I said it with Devin on Tuesday this week when we recorded one. I was like, I want to get back to doing this on Fridays because, all right, I have a short day. I go get my ass kicked by Avery. By the way, the last 2 weeks, he has been a fucking dick. Yeah. He goes, it's just 45 straight minute sessions. The first one was just kickboxing. Today was just rolling. For 45 straight.
Was just what?
Just rolling. Oh, we wrestled for 45 straight minutes.
Yeah, I have 3 things, and I have like 3 classes with him, and I have not used them. I've been a lazy piece of crap. I'm not gonna lie. Man.
But I like the Friday one because then, all right, I've worked out. I feel good. It's Friday. It's summer right now. It feels good. Like this is when they were picking up last year in the garage. Dude, I'm gonna have a few drinks with you, and then I'm gonna go do stand up tonight. Yeah. And it's like, this is a good Friday. This is a good day. Yeah. And you feel good going into comedy too. It's great. And you're just like, all right, I got a good attitude. I had a good day. So I'm glad you were like, yeah, let's do it.
I'm just trying to.
Or do you have to be again tonight?
I don't.
Do you want to? You're doing a high note?
Most likely, Jack hit me up to hang out, so I was like, I might go hang out with Jack.
Why don't you have him come down here and we can walk there from here?
Bro, Jack's busy and he's trying to get back. He does have a plan to get back into comedy. He's just a busy guy, but
he's engaged.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is just like, if this is what I want to do, I have to prioritize it. That's why I'm not going to say no. It's like every opportunity is an opportunity. So it's like, This might get no views. It might get a ton. But either so, it's like I'm going to get a little bit better.
I can now officially say
podcasts.
I know it's going to get views.
All right.
Which is cool.
All right.
I told you, I think.
All it took was me.
It grew. It grew from the thing, which was I was worried when that happened. I was like, all right, is this going to translate into people actually listening? I know it's not going to translate at the scale that one short video did, but is it going to make a jump? And I hate looking at numbers, but I was like, I got to look. And I was like, holy shit, people are going to listen to this.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Hell yeah, man.
I was like, this feels good. And now it puts pressure back on me to be like, all right, try and get one of these out every week.
Yeah.
But
that's where I'm at, dude.
It's
I'm
also
just trying
going
to
force
get it
me,
every week.
because I had a question with Greg, or a conversation with Greg at Laughing Tap. I'm terrible at asking people for stuff.
Yeah.
And he just looked me dead in the eyes. He goes, quit comedy then. I was like, really? He goes, you're going to need to put your, ask for things.
Yeah.
It's good. I was like, okay, fair.
If you don't.
Which is why I asked you on Thursday. I never want to be the guy that's like, he put my name in the bucket.
Yeah.
But I was like, if you know the person, I'm going to text him, put my name in the bucket. And I was like.
No, I was doing a guest at the
Yeah, I know. So but I know you used to work there. So I was like, but I need to ask people, and I'm going to ask more people to do this.
Yeah. Hey, man, I live by the philosophy, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a level.
Yes,
you can't be the guy who's messaging them every week, every day, like, hey, there's persistence. You need to be persistent.
Yeah.
But you also need to be working at it. If you're not working at it, at whatever you want to do, and then you're asking. One of my favorite quotes is by Les.
I was going to ask you that. What is your all-time favorite quote?
One of them, I don't know, there's a lot of them. I mean, there's some Bible verses I like, but one of motivational-wise is by Les Brown. He's a motivational speaker, and he says, better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared.
Yes. That just makes sense.
Yeah, but so many people don't think that. So many think that it's just gonna happen. You're not gonna have to eat crap. I ate crap my first damn near 2 years in comedy. I'm still eating crap.
Yeah.
I eat crap on a weekly basis, but I'm saying I didn't get the feeling of holy crap. I actually just made people laugh. I could be funny for almost 2 years doing comedy. Comics weren't really fans of me. I have a list in my notebook where I write down every negative thing someone said to me about how I'm not funny, how I'm not going to make it, how I'm not going to make money at this. And it doesn't mean I don't like that person. Yeah. Some of them are my friends. But I write it down. I write it down in my notebook. And I look at it, and I go, well, watch me. Watch me crush a guest set at the Improv, which I just did. Watch me get opportunity. It's going to take time. I'm not trying to rush it, but ultimately, I want to do this. I wanted to do this since I was 8 years old. I wanted to be a comedian.
You ever look back, and I'm going to give you my favorite quote, too, but
go for it.
You ever look back, because I when I started doing this, I'm like, is this something I've always wanted to do? And I knew I wanted to at least try it in college. I think high school, just one of those vague periods where I'm like, I'm just trying to get through high school kind of thing. You don't really know what you want to do.
School.
I'm not going to lie to you. In high school, I've been the person where I never think being older is going to happen. So when I was in high school, I'm like, oh, college is after this. I'm like, oh, college is never actually going to happen. I'm just going to be in high school forever.
Yeah.
But then you're in college. I'm like, what the fuck? How did this happen? But I remember you look back when you're younger. I'm like, okay, you know what I enjoyed the most? When Netflix first came out. And there was only the DVD things. Yeah. So it was kind of trying to compete with Redbox. Mm-hmm. And then they came out with, all right, we have a few extra titles online. And I realized, and my dad had a DVD of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. I watched that I loved it.
Who's your favorite comic?
Right now, Tom Segura.
Maybe ever.
Tom Segura.
Okay, ever?
Yeah. It's Tom. And then
he's fantastic.
I just someone asked me his two favorite now that I would like to emulate the most but not be is a combination between Schultz and Segura. Crowd work and stories.
Yeah, and Schultz is fantastic. And the thing I know it sounds stupid to say I'm working on crowd work, which mostly means I'm practicing it.
That's why I like hosting. That's the favorite thing about hosting.
And I'm looking at what other people do, and it's amazing how a lot of this is. I was watching Samuel J. Cameron. Sometimes I'll just go to the club and watch people. I want to just see them and see what they're doing. And he is fantastic at it. He's so good at making you feel like the joke he's making he hasn't done a million times because he's adding aspects that he does with the crowd into his jokes.
A lot of people don't, and I would never want to ruin stand-up for someone who's like, oh my God, that's just off the cuff.
No.
You know how much that is banked?
No.
Like, I've done this before.
He's been doing it since 14 years. I'm looking at that.
I have one in a joke now where I'm like, I have a response for every different response I could think of.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, oh, just thought of it right away, which feels good.
Yeah.
It works. That's probably one of the bigger pops I get.
Yeah.
So, but crowd work is fun. I enjoy just being quick with people.
Yep.
And when it actually is natural off the top and it works, that's a different rush.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit. You don't even know where it came from.
Yeah.
It just came out of your mouth. You're like, all right, that works.
That's the best. I mean, I had one thing where like this girl who I know was laughing at my show. Just like,
oh my God, is it the dying goat or whatever?
Yeah.
Yes, that was
and that was all off my head. And I was like, I'm a fucking comedian. Like, I actually felt like, because I just made it. And then off the top, I was like, how can I punch up? How can I punch up? Because a lot of people don't realize, like, you want to punch up. How can you make fun of them without being negative?
Yeah.
And then she was laughing because I made fun of her laugh. And then I just go like, man, when God made you, he must have been like, she's going to be perfect. But we got to give her something. And then that got a laugh. And then she went and did like the huge thing. And then it just kept
she actually
rolling,
died.
Dude, yeah.
I like that venue. It's
dude,
if you pack that room,
it's
very intimate. It's honestly the size of this apartment.
It's a little bigger, but yeah.
Yeah, it's this wide though.
Yeah. But it makes it fun because everyone is nuts
intimate.
to butts, dude. Yeah,
it's intimate. You're close enough no matter where you are that you're like, all right, he's talking to me.
It's the best comedy venues in my opinion. I love that space. When we can feel that space, we have never had a bad show. It's when we don't sell great, which was the first couple months of summer, and then we just took a break for summer because it just doesn't work in Wisconsin.
Everyone just wants to be outside,
which is fine.
And even, I mean, you could do outdoor comedy shows, but then everyone's ADD. You're like, these beers, I had to stop because I saw you were going slow. I was like, it's going down like water. And
Yours?
I'm a little worried because of the lack of food. The lack of food I've had.
Yeah.
I was like, one beer is I'm gonna be feeling it.
Yeah.
I think I have a bottle opener. Got it. Good enough. Okay, my favorite quote, and it used to be a question I ask at the end of. Actually, this conversation is perfect for the last question of this episode. But my favorite quote is, and this is one of the reasons not one of the reasons I started doing stand-up, but it makes me like realize I had this moment. Is every man has two lives. His second one starts when he realizes he has just one. I was like, it's great. And I've said it so many times on here, but it's phenomenal.
I don't get how I give people props who work jobs. Like if it's what they love to do, and they just want to get their paycheck, and then
that is
live
the
their
life for some people. It's
for some people, if it's what makes you happy, I have no problem. But I just see so many people who have nothing outside of work and don't like what they do, and then they just go and drink, which I drink.
Living for the weekend.
And it's just like, to me, it's like, don't you want something to strive for, something that you're in? It doesn't have to be comedy; it could be anything. But like to me, it's just. I was doing that where I was working in a cubicle. Dude, this place, there was like two moments that made me realize, like, why am I here?
I can't do a cubicle.
Dude, well, first one was, the cubicle was all I had. And they took my cubicle. they took my cubicle.
You know that space you had?
Yeah.
Walls gone.
No, they literally, and then they called it community seating. And I'm like,
was it just a desk and a chair in a cafeteria?
It was just open seating desks next to everyone, essentially so they could watch us, is my opinion. But they took my cubicle, which was the only privacy that I had, so I could like take a 20-minute break, watch a video, and like unwind for a second until I called people that yelled at me. And it was just like,
was it sales?
It was sales.
Oh my God.
Get this, I had to call people. So my job was, we sold software. I had to call companies because like main retailers would hire us, right? Yeah. Like Targets, Walmarts would hire us and say, hey, we want to use your software so we can make better purchasing decisions. So then our job was to call their suppliers and be like, hey, so Target wants you to use our software, and they give you $4 million a year. what do you want me to tell Target? and it's like some 45-year-old business owner.
What the fuck you gonna do?
And with some 22-year-old kid calling them, and essentially you just got like a fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And then eventually they'd have to do it. And the funny thing is, if they didn't use our software and they wanted to use theirs, they still had to pay us to test their software. So it was just
It's
not
one of those,
fun.
you ever felt like when you were, even now, if I had one of those jobs, I'm like, I'm so young.
Yeah.
And I'm arguing with like a 55-year-old man who's owned this business for 25
Makes no
years.
sense.
You're like, I hate it. When I did internship as a mechanical engineer, and right away, like, all right, so you're in charge of everyone on this floor, part of the plan. You're going to make all their desks more efficient. So you're just going to, like, alter their desks and shit
jerk
like that.
them off underneath the desk.
Yeah. And so they're like, all right, you're going to rearrange where they have everything. I'm like, oh, so you mean the people that are 65 years old, have been here for 30 years, all their desks are customized? I'm going to come in 21 years old, not even, I was 19, and be like, hey, I'm going to take what you've worked on for 30 years, I'm going to change it around. And you want them to like me?
Dude, that's like when you have a girlfriend and she's just like, oh, I just moved your keys. It's like, why would you move my keys? I knew where I put them.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, they knew where everything, that is like chaotic organization.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this would make sense. That's a problem with organizing, is if someone else does it for you, that organization makes sense to them.
Not to you.
And not to you at all.
We would have weekly meetings with just the staff where we would go like, who had the best phone call where they got yelled at the most, and we'd sit there and listen to these calls because they were recorded. The moment that made me quit my job in sales,
I don't like this.
I don't either. No, I don't. I took one sip and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It's happy.
Devin, this is terrible.
Yeah, Devin.
Do you want a seltzer instead?
Sure. This tastes like sweat, dude.
It does. Kind of cold?
It's all right.
Yeah. I put them
Seltzers
in.
are one of those things that it's not that big a deal.
You don't need it to be.
Yeah.
It's better
Beer
than
is
that.
different.
It's
Beer is different.
Oh, yeah. Beer has to be.
Mhm.
This is just above room temperature.
So the day that made me like, screw it, I'm quitting my job. Like when I quit my job,
I'll tell you when I quit my
I had a
social,
lot
too.
of stuff. I mean, I had a 6-year relationship. She essentially, I wrote that in my note. She was like, well, just do something then. Like she was like, you know, yelling at me and stuff like that because I wasn't happy with my job. I didn't have a respectful relationship. I don't think on either end, but I think it was just because I didn't really have a direction or know.
Yeah.
So like I took a risk and was like, I was quitting my job. I'm gonna move back. I'm gonna start comedy with no foundation. Lost that relationship, but the moment that I knew like I had to do that and quit my job was, we were out having happy hour. We had the only building that had like a lawn where we could have an outdoor happy hour.
Happy hour is a last-ditch effort to keep your disgruntled
We'll just get you
employees
drunk at the end of the week, and then you'll forget that you don't want to be.
It's
here
a way
anymore.
to like blackmail them because you know you're gonna say something stupid. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, I can't quit.
So we're out there having a happy hour. A dude who worked there, overweight man, leaving on a motorcycle from the garage, from the parking structure, comes out. Second he gets out, has a heart attack, collapses. Ambulances are called. He dies. And we're just sitting there drinking. And then the next day, we all knew we had a sales meeting, 400, 500 people in this conference, a big conference room. Big conference room. But great conference room. And
walked in there
and they're going through the sales and everything, and then they go to the next slide and it's just a picture of him, and the chief sales officer of the company just goes, moments like this just really make you know or let you know what's important in life.
And you're like, I quit.
And then he goes to the next slide. Anyways, quarter four. I'm like, so
This
we
man
don't care about
died
that?
leaving work.
So his last thoughts was like, what did I use my life with? As he watched Chad from sales shotgun a White Claw. Like I was like, I don't want that to be me.
No.
You know what I mean? So
the desk job, the sitting down, it's
which is fine to have a job. Yeah, I have jobs, you know, but
It's
I've
just
tried
not
to
for me.
organize it around things that either I know I just have to just get through my job because I got other things going on. Not, hey, this is my life now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I fell into such a good job. I can't complain.
yeah,
Such.
that's what I'm looking for right now, and I'm kind of screwed, honestly.
You'll find something. If this isn't it, you'll realize
what
what works
You know,
well.
God or the universe or whatever you believe in, I believe that things kind of, as long as you're striving for better and striving for something, I think things kind of
Tend to work out. Yeah.
they work out. Hopefully, or
I feel like I'm a pretty lucky individual when it comes to things.
I don't think
This
you're
is how
lucky.
I quit my sales job. I worked there for 3 days. 3 days. I was like, I can't do this. What
What were you doing? The desk thing? Was that the desk job, the desk organization?
No. That was when I was in college. This was 2 years ago. So I just, it's one of those jobs that I would just apply for jobs all the time when I was out of work, right out of college. And I didn't remember applying for this one. I would just feel good if I applied to something and then didn't do anything the rest of the day. So I just applied to this print media sales job. I didn't know what that meant. So then I get a call a month later, like, we see you applied for the print media job. Every sale you make $1,000. And I was like, that obviously sounds great. Like, it's 100% commission. I'm like, that doesn't sound great. But you know what? I need money. So I went and I did the training. The training was I met this man in the parking lot of a Metro Market. So a grocery store. Parking lot of a Metro Market. And he goes, all right, get in. I got into a stranger's BMW and just talked to me for a bit. He goes, we're going to go in there, and what you're going to do is you're going to sell the ad space on grocery carts. I go, what? He goes, yeah. So you're going to cold call local businesses and ask if they want to pay to put their ad on grocery carts. I'm like, this isn't going to work out. So he made me do recon, or what they call it. I don't know the right term, but I basically call it recon. Go into the grocery store, get all the ads where people are already advertising, and you're going to call all these businesses. I went to local churches, and they're like, you need to go ask for the bulletins. I go, okay. Are they going to let me? I'm not a member of this church. He goes, just walk in there and lie and say you and your girlfriend or wife moved here and you're looking for a new church.
Because that's the companies you want to work for. Ones that are just like, hey, just lie.
I go, listen, I was raised Catholic, might not be the most religious now, but I do know if it is real, I'm going to get struck down when I'm like, yeah, me and my girlfriend are here just looking for a new church. Like, no one does that. I did it. And
people do look for a new church, but they don't instantly go, anyways, you want to buy ad space on a grocery cart?
Yeah, so all of a sudden I have this brown paper bag just full of all these business cards, ads. We went to Quick Trips and by the bathroom. If anyone's looking for blue collar work, go to the bathroom at Quick Trip and there's a bulletin board of just business cards. He's like, take all of them. I go, what the fuck? They're looking for business. I'm looking to sell them something. Dude, the last thing we did, I felt so creepy. And this is day one, mind you. Because we're going to go through these residential neighborhoods around here. And you're going to take pictures of the realty signs in front of people's houses. And then you're going to call the realtors because they like to advertise a lot. I go, okay, that is true. I go, you want me to take pictures of people's houses? I will never forget this. 2 years ago, November, we had a 70-degree day. 70-degree day. It was over Thanksgiving break or something like that. Everyone is off school. This man pulled up to a house that had a realtor sign on it, 3 kids and their mom outside. He rolled down the window and goes,
that's why he's got a BMW.
he goes, take a picture of the sign. I go, what? He goes, do you know how creepy it looks that 2 grown-ass men
Dude, I got something
slowly rolled up in a BMW, rolled down the window, took a picture of these kids, and then drove away? I went like this. The mom saw and went inside. I'm like, go, dude, go. And then he goes, take a picture of the plumbing company in their driveway too. I'm like, just go. We got back into the parking lot he picked me up in. He goes, all right, go home, memorize the phone script. I go, I need to memorize what I'm going to tell the fucking cops.
Yeah, dude.
Because they're going to be knocking on my door.
Dude, I got something on top. So I used to work for my cousin's digital marketing company.
Yeah.
And he's great. I liked working with him.
I have that business card somewhere in here still.
Yeah, and he, we were doing a video shoot for a local town. They were trying to do tourism, right? And we created great video content for them. But one of the shoots, because they wanted to get all the best parts of their town, right?
Yeah.
So one of them was just this little swimming park for kids. Dude, and we were with the person who represented the company, and we first thing we do is we were fine with shooting everything else, but we get there and we're like, look, we say, her name, and we go, you got to go up to these parents, let them know what we're doing, because we're 2 grown men walking around with cameras videotape.
Like, we have facial hair. This doesn't look good.
Yes. And what she does, she's like, okay, I'll do it. I got you. Like, yeah, I'll go talk to them. This is what she does. We get there, we walk out, and she walks up to one parent. She goes, hey, my name's Liz. I'm with Visit Blank, and we're going to just be shooting an ad for our campaign. Is that okay with you? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we're good. There's
one person.
40 other parents. There's 40 other parents, a bunch of kids, and she's like, you're good. Go ahead and record. I'm like, no.
We're just going to record your daughter?
Yeah, dude, it was like, and all the parents were like, what? I'm like, we're working. It was the most uncomfortable I've been in a long time, dude.
Sales is, I saw a stat, for the most sociopathic or egotistical people, like personality-wise, sales is the number one job for those people.
It can also be a great job, and it can also be it's a fantastic skill set if
there
you're
are
good at
natural
it.
salesmen.
Yes.
Like my neighbor growing up.
My dad is one of them.
My neighbor growing up, his dad was a salesman, and his son does sales now, and he's phenomenal. Like, the way he can talk to people, he's just very good at, like, hey, let's see if we can help you kind of thing.
Well, that's what real sales is like, can we actually, like, help you with a goal that you're trying to do?
He's just so good. But then there are people who are just super I'm like, I couldn't do that because I wasn't buying into one of those guys. Like, I wouldn't.
You have to buy into the company.
And we had a meeting day 3. This is when I knew I was completely done. By the way, this is where we did the cold calling, and this is his philosophy on cold calling: is if no one answered. First of all, we went to a local library, and he's like, "Can we just like reserve some space in like a study room?" The study room is if I sat on that cushion next to you, and the door closed at the end of this. That's just us. This was the desk. You and I were there.
You're all just calling next to each other.
And he's just watching me. And if no one answered, he goes, all right, this is what you got to do. He's like, hi, my name is Michael. Blah, blah, blah. I was just hoping you would. And then hang up and pretend you got cut off. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're like, people would call back. I had a church call me back. A church. Like, hey, you got cut off. I didn't know what you wanted. I'm like, oh, my God. Felt so bad. But I booked a few appointments, and he told me every appointment I booked that he sells, I would get half the commission. I'm like, cool. I just got to do the call, and I make $500. And he just hyping himself up. He's a typical salesman. He goes, I sell at least 5 a week. I'm like, you're not making $5,000 a week, you fuck. Like, I promise you, you're not. You wouldn't be here. Didn't sell a single one. I booked like 9 appointments. Didn't sell a single one. The last one. Zoom call with a realtor. This realtor bitching him out. And she was also really stupid. She goes, I made a YouTube video. It has 500 views in a month. I go, that's
okay.
It's okay. But we just told you could get 20,000 in 2 weeks. 500. I'm like, I did it for free. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I'm like, this lady thinks she's David Dobrik, and my salesman thinks he's God.
Yeah.
And I went home that day. I texted him 2 hours later. I go, hey, man, I can't do this. And I knew I was, like, disposable. He goes, totally understand. Text me if you ever want to get back in. I was like, you don't care about me at all.
No.
I was just another
Most
paycheck
companies
to you.
don't.
Yeah.
That's what you want to find is companies that actually care. But
that's why I love my job now.
80% of them don't. 80% of them don't care about you. It is what it is. You know?
I loved watching this salesman just get ripped by new people. We went to the country once, like someone who outside their house, they're just splitting wood, moving rocks, cutting down trees. They did siding, they did landscaping, all that blue collar work. Like, this guy works 14 hours a day every day, and he's trying to sell him grocery cart ad space, and he goes, I got this one. I'm like, listen, I kind of grew up near all that. I have friends that do this. Can I talk to him? He showed up. I'm like, can we also take the dress shirt off, the tie, the shoes? This guy is not going to respect you.
Yeah.
And he got bodied again. I go, this is comical. I don't think you actually make any money. Also, he told me about all the suicides his friends had. I'm like, you seem like the common denominator, man. I would like to get out of this car right now.
That's his goal. He makes money off of people who kill themselves, dude.
Like, do you collect insurance too?
It's like, get in my car. It's like, in 3 weeks, you'll be wanting to die.
Because he would just drive me around, and all he would do, he's like, yeah, every year we get together with our friends because one of our friends killed himself. I'm like, I met you today. Why are you casually dropping this?
Sales is rough, dude. I did it for my cousin's company. But I mean, it was my choice. I'd call people and I'd try to sell them on digital marketing because a lot of companies, now it's more popular, but at the time they didn't have a lot of it. It's like, and video content can be a very powerful tool for people. If you do it right and you do it well. And, it was very hard. I got some people, but man, one time I just walked into a salon and I was just like, hey, just wanted to ask you, ever think of doing, video content or whatever, like that. And she walks, she's like, I should just walk outside. Like, I was like, oh, she's going to talk to me. She's like, so actually we're going to do the no soliciting, and then just slams the door on me. And
it's fair.
I'm not arguing.
You can't argue with it because if that was your company and someone's
just
coming in trying to sell you while you're working, like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I get it. The worst is when you do the full spiel, and they're like, I think we'll pass. Like, I just wasted 45 minutes.
What I found the most successful was just being honest with people. Look, hey, Jason, my name's this. Is like, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a cold call. I do this, and I want to see if and then I have whatever pitch. I'd be like, if that's something that you would be interested in talking about, we're local business, and if not, I don't want to waste your time. But like, I got better responses out of just being bluntly honest with people than I did trying to be like, hey, Jason,
you can read right through that.
You ever just meet somebody who no longer has a personality because of their job?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's like, how did you let them corrupt your soul to the point you don't have thoughts? I think it's
your personality is like, I just have money. That is your personality. It's like, I can afford this. That's it.
I never wanted to become that, so...
It's my biggest fear is
penis on stage.
Yeah, it's my big dude. There's a video of me in a penis costume asking my friend where hamsters come from. Like that job. I think I've just solidified that I'll never have one of those again.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see where we're at with time. I might ask you your final. Oh, we got you got 10 minutes in you.
What?
Where's Jack?
I can give him a call.
Tell him to come down here. We can walk to High Note from here. Would he perform tonight?
You want me to call him right now?
Like, hey, man, you're on the podcast again. Do I have to put his name on this episode?
No. Well, partially, I wanted to do this on my own with you just to see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm down to do it with him again.
Oh, absolutely.
Jack, I'm trying to get better at this, and Jack is actually he's really good at podcasting, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I wanted him, because I want to surround myself with people who have different skill sets and things that
it gets easier and easier just making it a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I will notice, though, like, once this goes off, a little bit of your head just kind of goes, okay, and then it's more of a quote unquote normal conversation. Yeah. But let's be honest, this is pretty normal.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like telling people when I start, because if I just go, all right, and go, it's like,
hey, like what I do a vlog.
Yeah, like,
and it's like, hey guys, and I'm like, I always joke, I'm like, this is my YouTube voice, and
welcome back to the Fat Chance vlog. I'm like, oh god.
No, I try to be it more like, what am I actually like? So
yeah, no, that's all I want. I just, when people would ask me like, what are we gonna talk about? I go, I don't know, whatever comes up.
Yeah.
Like, I guess try to be funny or interesting is all I want. I just want interesting.
One of the funny things that happened in my job before I quit was, they didn't give us raises. It was a joke. I sold $2.5 million of software, and then they give us raises. They didn't pay us well. Our pay was not good. It was fine.
Yeah.
But it was not good.
It was livable.
Barely.
Okay.
Well, meaning when I lived in Minneapolis, it's like half of my money was going to rent.
Yes.
And then the other half, it's like, well, if you want to do anything, otherwise you just have to live like a hermit and save up all your money. And I wasn't that fiscally responsible at the time. But their reward for us, and this was like, you really don't give a shit about us, was their reward for the people who performed the best each month was they got tokens of like to show who did the best. And they got them from one of our, because we had just gotten a deal with, what's it called? Five Below, the store for $5 or below. So they went to the store and they bought 2 toy items. And that one represented the best overall closing for sales, and one was the best for ARR, annual reoccurring revenue. Whoever closed the most annual reoccurring revenue, people who continually purchase. And if you got one of those items, you got this toy shark that like.
Well, you just got the toy?
You just got it got sat on your desk, and it just represented that you had the most sales a month. And then if you got the most sales for the month, you got a lightsaber. Funny enough, guess what they did? They took the blade out of the lightsaber because they didn't trust us with the lightsaber.
Oh my God.
So like essentially it's like, oh, we trust you to talk to $1 million
We're worried you're gonna stab someone with
but we can't trust you with a plastic toy. And I was like, you really don't give a shit about it. It was so insulting to me, and nobody else saw that. Like, nobody else, like, really made that connection. And I was like, how do you not make the connection that they don't want to give you a raise for hard work?
You know what that was?
But they'll give you a toy that doesn't even have the fun part of the toy in it.
Here's a deck of cards, but it's just the box.
Dude, I'm like, at least let me swing the lightsaber around a bit.
Exactly. That's, you know what that is? That's the PR, HR department. Be like, oh, fuck, we need to keep some of these people around. Like, when's the end of the year? Oh, it's tomorrow. Go to the store. This is all that's left.
I was like, dude, we're adults. Not much of ones, but we are adults.
I would have liked a $5 gift card to Target better than that.
Let me pick my item from Five Below at least, you know?
Yeah. At least a $5 gift card gets you to go to the store.
They could have done They could have given us a $20 gift card to a coffee shop. At least I don't have to pay for coffee that morning. But they got us toys because like I think a lot of these companies like, well, some people are like it blows my mind. Some people do want recognition, and I'm cool with recognition. I mean, I'm a comic. You want recognition to an extent, but the recognition comes with other things. You know what I'm saying?
You want to earn the recognition.
Because you get the recognition, you get more opportunity, and you get more money based off of that opportunity.
Yeah.
But just being like, good job, here's a lightsaber, was just like, eat a dick, you know?
I don't need anything. Right? It's like, I would rather you just didn't give me the toy. Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, for real.
It's an insult.
That's what it was to me.
All right, you ready for your last question?
Sure.
So
what's
I'm
my
ask you, then I have to pee so bad.
What's my last question?
So, coincides with the beginning. What is your meaning of life in 5 words or less? And then I'm going to have you explain when I'm done peeing.
My meaning, I've really been thinking about like why.
I was gonna say like not gonna lie, we were peeing, and I said you could say it while I wasn't there. For a while, just a split second, like, have I been imagining this entire conversation?
No, I've been thinking about really what I'm trying to do in life and why I'm trying to do. People say it's hard to like actually commit and deliver if you don't have that why. I think
fair.
I think
you want me to give you mine?
Yeah, you can. I think I have it, but you can give me.
So mine is just simply to live. Devin's was be creative I think something like be creative as possible, or always find a way to be creative. My buddy Connor's was empathy, stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to be like your purpose. It's not your
6 words.
Yeah, I'll give you 6. It doesn't have to be your purpose. What is the meaning to life to you?
I think with everything I've been doing and trying to become, I think it's learning to love myself and others.
Okay.
I think it's mainly where I'm at. I think that's it. Just trying to be positive, and like I've heard something recently where it's like you can choose love. You know, you can choose. Just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that you don't have to be mean to them. You know what I'm saying? My mom's always been a great example. She's always said, you know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I just think if you find self-love and work towards becoming a better person and work towards developing yourself, and then transcending that love to other people and just treating them with respect, I think it helps you immensely. And people can view that as weak, but I truly think it's harder to show love to people you don't necessarily like.
Oh, absolutely.
Than to just be a jerk. So I'd say learning to love myself and others.
I like that. Yeah. Mine has always been to live, and someone put it in a better way than I did, but it's life is learning to enjoy the passage of time.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah, that's
and
a good one.
It just, the end of the day, I think a lot of things don't matter. And this is I think a lot of things we do are very selfish. But I think selfish has a bad connotation to it. There is negative selfishness, but there's also good selfishness, and I think you need to find a balance in that. But just to enjoy
I think it comes
what
down to
you
yourself.
have right here.
Like if I can love myself, I can then love others. It's hard to love others if you don't love yourself.
I think if everyone I've asked this, if you were to hear all of them, you could find a way to connect all of them, which I think says a lot about just humans.
I agree.
Which is cool. I think that's a good way to end it.
Awesome. Thanks. Can I plug myself or no?
Oh, yeah. Please do that.
Cool. Yeah, you guys can follow me on YouTube at Brandon Wein, on TikTok or Instagram at Brandon Wein Comedy. And I also have a podcast called The You Broke It Show that you can find on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And, yeah, Michael's just on the newest episode of that. We didn't get to use much of it. We shot for about 2.5 hours, and I went through and I was like, none of this is usable. Absolutely none of this is usable.
I would say none of that is my fault either.
I don't think it is. No, it's not. It's not. But it's still fun. We play dumb games. We kind of riff like this as well, and we got a cool art.
That would be my one
background.
piece of advice I tell you about doing this. To save yourself time. You can have fun with it. Like, that was a very fun day for me. I enjoyed that. I did not expect it. Is one, because you take yourself very seriously when it comes to this, and you should not be ashamed of that at all, and I don't think you are. One, put your foot down on when people should be here. Like, give them a time frame. Like, hey, if you're going to be an hour late, which is what happened, it's not great. 2, put a precedent right away. Like, listen, I want to use majority of this. Like, I don't edit anything unless it's something terrible happens. I haven't edited anything out.
Yeah.
But if it was something like that with me, I just wouldn't release it.
Yeah.
But I would have edited it. Make sure
it's still content
one,
I
make
wanted
sure
to put
I
out
know,
what I could,
I know,
you know?
but make sure one, people when they get there, you're like, hey, everything you say can and will be used against you. Read them their podcast rights, basically.
That's a good idea.
Read them their podcast. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I will put this out on the internet. So, because a lot of people come into these things right away and will just like, oh, this isn't
edit that
mine.
Edit that out. Yeah.
I'll just fuck off. Edit it out. And like, they don't realize how much work that is.
It's only my 6th episode, so I appreciate this.
Yeah.
So I'm learning this stuff.
But yeah, just basically be like, listen, this is going on. I just want you to realize, like, I know this seems like a fun thing for you to do. Like, you don't do this, but I putting this on the internet for me, all right? And I think it will do well, okay? So just know this is going online. So what you say will come back to you. Yeah. I want you to be entertaining. I want you to be funny. I want you to be interesting. Don't be a dick. Yeah. Kind of thing. So just know you're responsible for what you say. Yeah. And then that leads to more people being like, all right, like, I'm here to have a good time.
It's a purpose.
Knowing,
it's a purpose.
Just having people know you're serious about this changes their dynamic and how they perform on here. Yeah. It's a big thing. Because I notice it, and I could even tell on your face sometimes, or I think even you were like, fuck, I can't use some of this.
No, I couldn't use any of it.
And even I was
like, editing it for 2 weeks, and I was like, I was trying to salvage it, and I was like, one, my friends are going to be fucked, or I'm going to be, and it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. You don't want to be the reason someone's fucked. You definitely don't want to be the reason you're fucked. But it's just one of the things. Let them know, like, hey, I take this seriously. Yeah. So, fuck off. Yeah. Kind of thing.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that. That's a good words of the wisdom.
All right, now we're done. I'm not going to promote myself. All right, bye.
Bye.